Hello everyone, my name is Zach. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well today. Welcome to Zach on Location, aka we're under a shelter-in-place order, which means people can't leave my house unless they're walking, so I walked to a little public access bridge so I could film. Quarantine life is great, isn't it? Today we have one of the most famous BookTube tags of all time, and that is the No Disclaimers book tag, which I believe was created by Catalyst Reads. I tried to click on a link to the original video, and it said video unavailable, so I don't know what happened there. But the tag still exists, and so I got all the questions, and I'm going to answer them. And it's going to get salty. Some of you are going to get salty, but that's the whole point of the tag. So, I ain't apologizing, because the whole point is no disclaimers. So, let's just jump right in, shall we? Question number 1. Which trope or tropes in books annoy you the most? Okay, so one that definitely annoys me is any type of really angsty romance trope. Angsty romance is not my thing personally, so when I see fake dating or I know enemies to lovers is in a book, I'm just thinking, oh great, we got to go through all this angst and to get to the inevitable, oh I actually really like you, that I already know is coming, so it just ain't for me, you know? But there is actually one that annoys me a little bit more than the angsty romance tropes, and that is killing off a male character's wife or girlfriend to motivate them in the story. I don't like this. I think it's in really bad taste. I think it kind of objectifies women, and just a lot of the time these characters are very sweet to make the death really tragic, and I just keep thinking to myself, what if that character survived, and then we would have another great character here. And it insinuates to me that male characters are only motivated by their wives or girlfriends, so if they die, that's their motivation to do things. There's a fairly famous dystopian trilogy here on BookTube, and I'm not going to say which one it is because then that'll give away a huge spoiler for the beginning of the first book. But I DNF'd it because the main character's wife is killed off, and then suddenly he's all, oh, I got to fight this evil regime, and it's you didn't want to get politically active till your girlfriend died, so you're not actually politically active. You don't actually care. You just want revenge. And I don't want male characters that just want revenge. I want male characters that care about the world and doing the right thing. So, please stop now. Question number 2. Which writer or writers do you feel is overhyped or overrated? Stephen King. Now, I know some of you are going to think it's a little hypocritical for me to have this large collection of Stephen King books and to talk about him a lot, but he's overrated. He's constantly heralded as one of the most important and greatest storytellers of our time. And yes, he stole a lot of books. And yes, he does come up with some great ideas, which you just have to read because they seem like they'll be really great stories. But in my opinion, Stephen King's kind of eccentricities as a writer always seem to bring down his books, even the ones of his I really like. And then his bibliography is so inconsistent that I have trouble subscribing to this theory that he's one of the greatest storytellers ever. He's no Arthur Miller, and just the idea that he's the greatest horror writer and he's responsible for making horror famous, I think is really bunk. He's certainly the most famous horror writer, but I think there are tons of horror authors across history that are way better. And if you're not ignorant of the genre, then you know that you can find a lot of great writers that are way better at horror than Stephen King is. A lot of my favorite Stephen King books aren't even his horror novels, so I don't know what to tell you. The man's overrated. I like his work some of the time, but he's not the greatest. I'm sorry. He's just not. Question number 3. What are your least favorite books you've read since joining BookTube? Okay, here's the thing. A lot of the books I really didn't like that I've read since joining BookTube already have videos on. So my 3 Stephen King drinking games, The Regulators, Cell, and Dreamcatcher, really didn't like those. Neil Schusterman's Unwind, really didn't like that. Wool, was not a big fan at all. And those all have videos on them. The only one I really didn't like since joining BookTube that I haven't done a video on is Christine by Stephen King. And that one, to me, was just boring. It was way too long, and the horror could have been a lot more fun than it was because it focused way too much on this, soap opera. And so I was really disappointed, but I don't think it's a horrifically bad novel. So there you go. Pretty much any video I've done a negative review on is the worst books I've read since joining BookTube. Number 4, a terrible ending that ruined an otherwise quality book. Blackout by Mira Grant. I am forever bitter. To be fair, it's not a terrible conclusion to the series. It's just she wrote like no falling action, which is like one of my favorite parts of a book, especially at the end of a trilogy, which this was the end of the Newsflesh trilogy. And then she makes a decision concerning 2 of her characters that just came so out of the blue to me and just was like, no. No. So, yeah, I'm bitter. Question number 5. Which fictional character or characters do you wish were not killed off? If you've read Nevernight, then certainly you're going to know which character I'm talking about. If you want to know specifically which character death in Dark Dawn I'm referring to, you can DM me if you've read it already, because there are quite a few deaths in Dark Dawn, but a pair of them hit harder than most of the others. So if you want to know, you can DM me, because I'm obviously not going to spoil it. Question number 6. What are some of your bookish pet peeves? I have 2 as far as like physical things with books. Number 1, I don't know what else to call this except the cover slit. You see this a lot on like YA books where it's the cover and the cover is just slightly slimmer than the size of the book. So there's like a little slit missing on the side. What is this? Get this out of here. I paid you full price for this book and you gave me like 90% of the cover. Where's the rest of my cover, bro? Give me the rest of my cover. And then the other one, this one really irks me, and like, I can't say OCD because it's not correct, but I guess me being a type A personality is covers and spines that almost match, like almost matching editions. The one that comes to mind is my Stephen King. I keep talking about Stephen King in this freaking video. My Stephen King editions that were done by Jim Tierney. They're all done by the same artist, but the font of Stephen King's name is slightly different. There's like 2 different versions of it, so that they don't match. And then also, some of them say #1 New York Times bestseller. Some say #1 New York Times bestselling author, and they're not aligned. They kind of are staggered. And also some of the books are slightly shorter than the others, and it just, they would look so nice together if they actually matched. But they don't. They almost match. And I hate it. What are some books you feel should have more recognition? Ballad of Black Tom by Victor LaValle. I feel like I talk about that book a lot, but I really loved it. I need to reread it soon. The other one I do really like is Dean Koontz' Frankenstein. This is a series. I've read the first 2 books of the series, and they're really good, so I don't know why no one really talks about it, because like Frankenstein retellings seem pretty popular on BookTube, but no one talks about these, which makes me really sad, because I love them a hell of a lot more than the original Frankenstein. So if you like Frankenstein and Frankenstein retellings, check that one out. There's also a question on censorship and banning books, but everyone says the exact same thing. And like Antsy Andy, who tagged me for this video, I kind of wish they just took this question out because everyone says the same thing. I would make an edgy joke, but I don't know how many of my viewers would appreciate it, and I don't really want to get myself in trouble because there's no room for nuance or sarcasm on the internet. So instead of saying what everyone else says or making my edgy joke, I'm just going to put this picture. And the last question is, who do you tag? So I'm going to tag 3 people, which I think is customary. The first person I'm going to tag is my friend Linda from Just a Bookaholic. She is starting to make videos again finally, and I am so excited. And I'd love to hear what she has to say about this. I love when my friends get salty. So like, when I found out I get to tag people, it was fun. Unfortunately, a lot of my friends have already done this. So I had to kind of find who hadn't, but Linda, I would like to see you be salty. I would also like to see Rachel from Reads with Rachel be salty because, as I learned on the live stream we did together recently, she is as salty as I am, and I love it, Rachel. And then the last person I'm going to tag is Kelsey over at Kelsey Reads. Kelsey is someone I think is like mostly positive a lot of the time, so like, I need some saltiness, Kelsey. I mean, she did just put out like her first rant review a couple of weeks ago, which was really good. I'll link that in the description. But more salty content. So would love to see you do this salty tag, Kelsey. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you like it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I will see you next time.